Well, hello and welcome back to the Gorilla Biker, and today what we're going to do is a little bit more work on the Valkyrie here, because I'm currently trying to convince myself not to go into debt so that I can buy a BMW R18, and the best way to do that is to have another big cruiser on the road of a similar leg placement configuration. So that's what we're going to try to do. Also in this video what I'm going to do is talk through the front brake calipers and what we have completed and what we will be completing with those. And I apologize, I'm going to buy a actual light diffuser thing for, like, you know, video recording. Those lights are actually just work lights because, you know, that's primarily what I do. I've just blinded myself. I can't see. You know, I actually do work on things without videos, namely cars. But yeah, so I'm just going to grab you and then we're going to have a look at the carbs. Little grabby poo. How does it feel to be grabbed? Alright, so what we're going to do is first and foremost take out the other bolt out of this guy here. This is the like AIS system essentially. It's like an air thing. I can't remember what the actual proper description for it is now. I'm probably going to delete this because I probably just will. I'm not sure. The reason I'm not going to go through actually how to remove these is obviously, well, there's quite a bit of the bike already missing, so there's not really much point. But what we also do have to do is, one of these is the choke, that one right there. See it moving? So we're gonna have to, oh, you silly goose camera, focus. So that's the choke cable right there. So we're gonna take that out. And then this guy here should be, well, one of those is the return, but you can see the throttle cable obviously being here. This is the return for the choke, this cable right here. And then our throttle should be, oh yeah, it's being driven from down here. So we'll also be removing the throttle cable, which I will try to show you as well. Probably gonna dismount the coil here from the frame just to give myself some space. And then these cables here I was going to move, but they actually look like they've already, oh, there's the throttle cable mounting point right there. And those cables look like they've already been unintentionally or intentionally popped off their claspers, which will also give us more space to get these out. I know they are supposed to come this way, and obviously I'll also be popping all these boots, which already look to be loosened, off. And yeah, then we'll obviously have a look at those. And towards the end of the video, I'll talk through the brakes. I should have the brake rebuild kit here soon, primarily around this particular piston, which was terrible, but we'll get to all that fun stuff very soon. So yeah, stick around if you want to see the carbs, and we'll pop one open and see how it looks. So I was wrong about the way that choke cable is working. It's actually not a return, it's actually pulling on the other bank for the choke on the far side, say, which is cool. There's the choke cable removed. I am of course also going to have to re-grease all of these cables because they're quite nasty. I will say all the stuff is quite easy to access, which is nice because that's kind of rare. Throttle cable's out of the way. Next we'll loosen up those boots. Those booties even more. These are going to be really fun to try to displace because I feel like they're one of those things that's been there so long, they don't know how to let go, you know? Which, you know, I can understand. Well, hello there. So just to show you where we are, actually these carbs are not too bad to take off, to be honest. What I did have to do though is actually undo these guys here, which are held on with these 8mm bolts. And how I'm having to remove them from the carb itself is with a hammer and carefully, essentially loosening up this clamp as much as it can go and hammering it off, because these air quotes rubber boots are no longer really rubber. Once I get these off, I think I'll have enough clearance to just wiggle this out. But we should wait and see. I don't think I actually need to take off this last one, because obviously I'm coming this way, like that way. And so I'm going to hammer off the ones on this side now, and hopefully we'll get the carbs out. Oh, also you might have noticed that, yeah, my intake ports are all blocked with blue papier. I know blue papier is not ideal, but it's better than nothing. And that's why I'm using it. It's so cool you can hear me now, even though I'm really far away from the camera and hiding. Thanks to my fancy whiz-bang thing. So yeah, that's what we're going to try to do now, is remove this with some hammering. I would say, if you own a heat gun, if you heat up these boots, it would help a lot. I'm also going to like soak them in WD-40, because that does kind of restore old rubber boots a little bit. I'm also going to price buying new rubber boots, because while you're going to all this trouble, you may as well see if they're not too expensive and get some. She does not want to. Oh, we got her. Yay! We got one. Theoretically, now I should be able to move these carbs out. Let's see. That's the AIS pair valve stuff. And there we go. Are you still recording? You are, good. So that wasn't terrible, to be honest, to get those out of there. They are filthy. I don't know, are they full of fuel? Doesn't sound like it. So hopefully now I can get this one off. This one really did not want to come off earlier. Actually, the movement on the throttle, hold on, let me try to show you. It's gonna be really difficult to show you, but I'll try. So the throttle actually moves really smooth on all of them. Don't know how well I showed you that. They actually look pretty even. Obviously we'll be balancing these later, but that's the carbs removed. What I'll do is I will figure out a way to show you one of these being opened up in a second. Okay, so that is the carbs least removed, which is a step in the right direction. First and foremost, let's talk about the brakes. So what I had to do, and again, this is a not pleasant method. I had to carve a little groove into this particular piston, clamp this guy in here, and then what I did is I got my trusty hammer over there, and while holding this piston, I literally hammered the caliper off this particular piston. So if you look, all these pistons cleaned up not so bad. Not the prettiest in the world, but they weren't too bad. This piston was locked completely solid. It's really bad. Like, it was actually completely frozen in place, which was why the bike was actually hard to move around, because obviously that piston just wasn't ever moving. Now the calipers themselves, I probably am not going to paint these, because my goal is just to get this bike running and then figuring out what I want to do with it, like paint wise and whatnot, colors wise. So I could paint them, but I'm unlikely to do that. But they clean up really well. You know, there's no crazy corrosion on the inside, which is kind of what you want to look for. Like, if you look, if you probably can't, if you look into that channel in there, okay, that's where the actual seals sit, these guys here. And if that was all corroded and just full of mud and misery, it would be really hard to actually rebuild these calipers to a kind of a usable state. But as it stands, they're not bad. So quite pleased with that. Worked out better than, honestly, I was kind of concerned when I started taking them apart, kind of how messed up they were a little bit. But honestly, new pistons, new seals, I think they'll be fine, which is really good news. Someone messaged me recently, actually. It was funny. They were like, you're getting yourself a nice collection of tools. You know, that's really cool. Congrats, etc. They're like, what's your favorite one? And sometimes I forget that you're not supposed to answer things truthfully. You know, sometimes I forget that you're supposed to say the thing that makes someone feel good or whatever. And I said, the only tool that matters to me in this garage is a small little screwdriver. And they're like, oh, why? You know, and seemed genuinely interested. So I told them. I said it was my grandfather's when he passed. Actually, quite a while after he passed. It was actually once my grandmother passed. We all went in and kind of grabbed some stuff, you know, to remember them by. And the only thing I actually wanted was some of his tools, which I have. And yeah, I'd keep those over like everything else in this garage, pretty much so. But I think it made them feel awkward out of the ass. So now you all might feel awkward, but I just thought that was interesting, you know. I always forget to answer questions the nice way. I'm always truthful, which is sometimes problematic. Oh, the last bit of that tea was cold. So a lot of what I just did there as well is actually part of what I like to do before I order too much. You know, I obviously already have a rebuild kit for the carbs here, and this is all kind of just standard equipment. It is a Parts Unlimited rebuild, which is just mainly, you know, the usual stuff: seals, needles, and jets and whatnot, seats, and the basic stuff that I would be replacing, kind of irregardless of how it all looked. The rest of the stuff, the boots and whatnot, those ones that are just solid rubber, that's what I like to check before I buy them, because they're quite expensive, can add up to quite a bit for a project. But that's kind of why I generally like to try dig in a little bit before I order too much. This first, we're just going to open one carb up and see where we stand. And we're going to go with this one. I should have bought a third tray for screws and whatnot. So what's in here is your diaphragm. Your diaphragm will have a spring, a seal, of course, which generally is part of the diaphragm. And there's the spring trying to go. And then you also have your needle. So let's just inspect this for health. So that's really good. The inside of this is clean as a whistle. What that means is no fuel got leaked up in here, which can happen. This is obviously our actual cap. We'll clean that. That's our spring, which looks in really good condition. My buddy's online. And then this is your diaphragm and slide, which is in a needle, which is in really good condition. This is all really good news so far. So those all actually look kind of astonishingly good. I don't know, did you at home watch the Gixxer rebuild? But if you remember the carb on the Gixxer, it had been full of fuel and it was disgusting. This looks great. I'm really, really pleased. I can't tell you how pleased. That looks kind of astoundingly good. Now, this clearly has been rebuilt before, because what we have here is different screws, and some of them absolutely muntered. So this will be interesting. We have some Allens in there, and this is the beauty of having this guy. I have discovered that argumentative screws come out a lot easier with a little bit of hammer action. I can't tell you how much pain and suffering this would have saved me over the years had I just bought one. So very happy to have it. Now, what size are you? Okay. I'm serious, by the way. I literally absolutely love this tool. It's probably one of my favorite things I have ever purchased. See, it just makes everything so easy. The nice thing is I'm pretty certain my kit comes with a lot of replacement stuff for this. So this is what I wanted to show you, okay? Because this is where, I'm getting too excited. This is where a lot of the problems come in usually, is in this bowl here, okay? This is where your fuel sits. This would have caused a problem, undoubtedly. This seal is, well, it's rock solid. It's absolutely flat. It's no longer elastic. So that seal is completely goosed. But the good news is, this is clean as a whistle. Alex, I love you even more, buddy. So clean. So obviously the outside isn't clean, but I can clean that off pretty easy. And then it also looks like we have a non-adjustable float, which is great news. But essentially what you have in here, and these are really hard to maneuver because I don't know, this contraption is huge. That's your throttle linkage there. But essentially I'll pop this float out. This little pin here will come out. Basically you want to pull that pin basically through, and that holds this onto our needle. I don't know if it's focusing, but that needle is what stops and starts the flow. So the float's really important. And what's nice is the float doesn't look to be an adjustable style float, because adjustable style floats can be a pain. This is our pilot jet, main jet here, and then we'll also have a different adjuster in here which sets your kind of idle air fuel ratio here. So all in all, this looks pretty straightforward to rebuild actually, because it's not dirty. This only becomes an issue, or not an issue, it becomes more difficult when everything is dirty. So that is our jet seat essentially. That's the main jet's actually just this piece. This whole piece is the main jet. So what I'll do now is I want to actually see, do we have a full replacement? We do not, so we'll have to get this guy out. I'm actually not sure what size that's going to be. It's probably like a 6 or something weird. I have a 7. Are you a 7? You are a 7, that's great news. So this will be the interesting bit. Can I actually get this jet out? Yes, I can. Great news. Honestly, this is all turning up Millhouse for me right now. So this here is our main jet, which I don't know, can you see that? I'm gonna try to focus on it. But this has been used in the past, and someone like really tore this up with a screwdriver, tightening it. It's actually, because that's obviously turning that way. And it looks like it really just got torn up. Which is, well, look, these things happen, but you don't need to over tighten these, they're brass. And that is a size 100. So the size on all of your jets will be stamped. I don't think you're going to see that, but it's stamped right there. And it is a 100. Obviously what we will do is clean this out with a bit of carb cleaner, which I have. If you have, which I have used in the past, if you have a how do you say it, ultrasonic cleaner, that is a great thing to clean all these up with. And yeah, we have a new one of our pilot jet. So this is our pilot jet. And do we have a size? We should. It is a 38K. So I don't know, will you be able to see that either? Let me just try to show you here. But that's your pilot jet. Your pilots and your mains do different things. One is for kind of like lower revs, and then your main jet comes on for your higher revs essentially. Now why will this not come out? There we go. So to get out this pin, you literally just want to get something to push it with. Which sometimes, like right now, can be frustrating. There we go. So that's the little pin you want to push out. and I lost the I lost the needle there for a second, but that's my float. So like I said, the float just stops and starts the flow of your Christ, my brain is bad today. Stops and starts the flow of your fuel. So now I want to see what we actually have in the Parts Unlimited kit. So we have new needles, they're right there. We have new slides. We have our new main jets by the looks of it. Yeah, we have our new air fuel regulator adjuster thingy, and we have new mains. So like I said, I do need to obviously keep this main jet seat. We have all of our gaskets and rubbers, which is good. And we have also our new screws and whatnot for the actual, to put the bolts back on. So really we have a pretty complete kit, which is good, which is great news. We do not have the seats, new seats, so hopefully the seats are good. But I cannot tell you how happy I am at how clean this is. Like, obviously there was no fuel left in here because this thing is clean as a whistle. Like really, really clean. This is going to be so much more straightforward now. It's literally just kind of like a take it apart and put it back together again situation, rather than you know, something that I actually have to do a lot of work for, we'll say, which obviously makes me happy. Honestly, that slide looks really good too. Definitely needs a clean. You can see where there was some fuel in here, but overall really good. So that's going to be it for tonight. I'll just get a thumbnail. Yeah, there we go. One of those will be a thumbnail. But it's very rare that you take apart an old bike's carbs and come away happy. You know, it's very rare that you take it apart and are pleasantly surprised. Usually you're shocked into silence and the world is probably worse than when you started. But nothing here scares me. This actually looks remarkably clean. So, you know, everything moves. Nothing looks too brittle except the main fuel lines. I'll probably change them. The other rubbers are actually in really good condition. So really and truly, all we're looking at here is kind of a clean and a put back together, and then hopefully this bike will run. Do need to also have a look at the petcock, because the petcock feels weird. I don't know, is it just not working or something? But it certainly feels like it's not working. So we'll check into that one. This is a petcock, by the way. It's what controls your fuel flow. And this one is also a vacuum driven petcock, and those vacuums can fail. If you want to see me rebuilding one, I'll leave a link up there to one I did, Kawasaki's one. But yeah, for now, what I'm going to do is just clean and rebuild these one by one. I will probably do a video on that. We'll see. But yeah, overall, I mean, I'm pretty chuffed that this is in the condition it's in internally on these carbs. Makes me very happy. So if you've watched, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining me in another little step on the road to getting this beautiful Valkyrie back running and on the road. If you've enjoyed the video, please do like it, because it helps YouTube show it to more people. I don't really make videos so that lots of people see them, but it would be nice if we got more views back up on the channel. So have a look at that if you wouldn't mind. And yeah, probably going to delete the AIS system. I don't think I need it. I don't think it does anything much. And yeah, some boots and stuff to get. But honestly, I think I have most of the parts I need now in order to get this bike running and register it. And then after that, we can kind of keep on doing stuff. Whether or not I'm going to do timing belts and stuff yet, I don't know. I might leave them a little bit further down the road. We'll see. Because, I mean, honestly, the bike's in really good condition. It's pretty low mileage, so we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, until next time, thank you very much for watching. As always, a special thank you to all of my patrons. Especially special thank you to Alex, since he sold me this bike and it just kind of keeps getting better. We do need to whip the wheels off soon too and check wheel bearings and stuff, but we'll do that. We'll do that next time. And yeah, so yeah, just thanks everyone. Appreciate your time, and I hope you're enjoying this dive into getting a Valkyrie back on the road, because I certainly am. And yeah, that's it. Adios. Outro crew. Can you believe how clean this is? Like, I'm not being funny, but look at the inside of this bowl. It's so clean. There's like, I mean, there's a little bit of dirt in there, but yeah, I wouldn't even call it dirt. It's basically perfect. So I have some dremeling to do. I gotta clean this up with some dremeling. So it's my next job for tonight. Bye, outro crew.